stop, Station 46. Paranormal horror, modern day, gas station. Somewhere along Route 29, between two forgotten towns, stood an old gas station barely marked on any map. It had no name, no logo, no signs of life. Just rusted pumps, dusty windows, and a silence that stretched for miles. Jack pulled in just after dark, soaked by rain and nearly out of gas. His GPS had gone haywire, his phone had no signal, and his car was running on fumes. According to the map, the nearest town was over 20 kilometers away. He didn't even remember how he got here. A flickering neon sign above the station's door read, "Open, 24/7. Oddly enough, the sign still had power though no other lights were on. Jack stepped out. The rain had suddenly stopped, but the air felt wrong. Too quiet. As if even sound was afraid to exist there. He walked toward the market door. It wasn't automatic. He pulled it open with a loud creak that cut through the night like a blade. Inside, the place smelled like wet wood, fuel, and dust. The shelves were covered in a thick film of grime, yet oddly full chips, expired soda bottles, candy bars. All of it looked decades old. Time, it seemed, had stopped here. "Hello," Jack called out. No answer. He tapped the bell on the counter. The sharp ding echoed across the empty room. Still nothing. He glanced up at the corner ceiling. A security camera blinked with a small red light. Someone had to be watching. Or had been. Turning around, he went to leave but the front door was shut. Fogged over. His car was barely visible through the glass. He pulled on the handle. It wouldn't open. He hadn't locked it. Had he? Jack frowned. "Is anyone here?" he called again, louder. That's when the lights flickered twice. And something moved behind the register. A shadow breathed, humanoid, but not quite human. "Hey!" Jack shouted, instinctively stepping back. No reply. He cautiously stepped toward the counter, peeked behind it. No one. But a book was sitting there now. Leather-bound, old, worn at the edges. He opened it. Most of the pages were blank, but halfway through, a line stood out written in what looked like dried ink or blood. "If you've entered, you can't leave. You're one of them now." Jack flipped the page. Another message, "Only those who pump gas may leave. But there is a price." Just then, static crackled from the ceiling speaker. A voice, female, distorted, as if coming from underwater, spoke, "Return to the pump, and don't look at your shadow." Jack froze. His heartbeat thundered in his ears. This couldn't be real. He rushed back to the door. This time, it opened. Outside, the darkness was thicker. The air heavier. One of the pump hoses hung loose, dripping. Drip. 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 He ran to his car. Tried the ignition. Nothing. The gauge still read empty. He had no choice. He approached the pump. The old screen flickered to life. "How much will you give?" Jack stared. What? He pressed a button. The screen changed again. Time, memories, soul. He recoiled. Pulled his hand back. The pump shut off. Suddenly, all the station lights went out. In the polished metal of the pump, he saw a reflection. But it wasn't his. Its eyes were hollow. Behind it, something stood looming over his shoulder, close enough to whisper. Jack tried to scream, but no sound came. A final message flashed on the screen, "You've chosen." Then blackness. 7:46 a.m. A trucker pulled into the station. Everything was quiet. He stepped inside. No one. A dusty ledger lay on the counter. He opened it. A single entry stood out: "If you've entered, you can't leave. You're one of them now." Outside, a car was parked. Engine running. Gas tank full. No one inside. Jack woke up again, but not in the same place. Same station. Different rules. This time, it was darker. Shelves empty. Windows pitch black. No outside world. Time didn't move. In the back room, he found things that hadn't been there before. Old tapes. Photos. Drawings of faces scratched out. Pinned to a corkboard were faded cards: Matt, 1987. Lucy, 1999. Emra, 2006. Isabel, 2012. Jack, 2024. The ink on his name was still wet. A voice not heard, but felt inside his skull whispered, "You're just the latest. One always stays." The ceiling lights pulsed. Shadows shifted between the aisles. Two glowing eyes emerged. Not human. Not animal. Just there. Watching. Jack ran. Through the back. Into hallways that shouldn't exist. Corridors stretched farther than the building allowed. On the walls, claw marks. Fingernail scrapes. Someone had tried to escape. Many had failed. In one room, a TV buzzed to life. Static. Then an image. Jack. Sitting in his car. But it wasn't him. Or rather, not anymore. The man on the screen looked into the camera. And smiled. The TV shut off. Jack collapsed. He couldn't tell how long he'd been here. Then footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Real. They approached from the corridor. No door. No escape. He pressed against the wall. Closed his eyes. The footsteps stopped. Breathing. Right in front of him. Close enough to feel. He opened his eyes. It was himself. A perfect copy. Same clothes. Same face. But with empty eye sockets. Just void. "It's time to switch," the thing said, smiling. Jack tried to scream. Tried to run. But his body no longer obeyed. Darkness spread from his chest through his arms, into his thoughts. He forgot his name. Why he came. Even that he was ever human. Months later, a young woman, lost and tired, pulled up to Station 46 during a storm. She opened the door and stepped inside. Behind the counter, a man greeted her with a calm smile. It was Jack. But it wasn't Jack anymore.